The studio lights felt hotter than usual, or maybe Prince Harry was simply more aware of them today. He sat across from Kelly Clarkson, hands folded, posture careful, the faint, practiced smile fixed on his face. The audience had welcomed him warmly, applause rolling like a polite wave, but there was an undercurrent in the room, a tension that hadn't been there during rehearsals. Kelly leaned forward, cue cards resting lightly in her lap. "Harry," she began, her tone friendly but firm, "your memoir sparked a lot of conversations. Some inspiring, some controversial. Do you ever worry you've shared too much?" The smile on his face tightened. Harry had answered versions of this question dozens of times, but something about the way she phrased it, soft yet pointed, made his chest tighten. "I don't believe in too much truth," he said evenly. "Silence protects systems, not people." A ripple moved through the audience. Kelly nodded, though her eyes held a spark of challenge. "But when truth hurts people who didn't ask to be part of the story, family members, for example, where do you draw the line?" Harry exhaled through his nose. He'd promised himself to stay calm, to keep this interview smooth. "With respect," he replied, "those people had platforms long before I spoke." "I didn't." Kelly raised an eyebrow. "You were born a prince." A few gasps slipped out before the audience caught itself. Harry's jaw clenched. "And I paid for that birth in ways most people can't imagine." The room shifted. Cameras zoomed in, sensing friction. Kelly adjusted in her chair, her voice still controlled but sharper now. "I get that pain is subjective, but many viewers feel you've turned personal struggles into a brand. Books, documentaries, interviews, do you see why that rubs people the wrong way?" Harry's hands unfolded, one palm pressing against his knee. "Are you asking me," he said slowly, "why telling my own story bothers people more than the institutions that caused the harm?" Kelly didn't look away. "I'm asking if there's a point where healing becomes public spectacle." The applause sign flickered uncertainly, then went dark. Harry leaned forward now, mirroring her posture. "When people accuse me of profiteering," he said, voice rising just enough to carry edge, "they ignore the fact that my silence was far more profitable for others." Kelly's lips pressed together. "So everyone else is wrong." "I didn't say that," Harry shot back. "But I am tired of being told to sit down and be grateful." The word "sat down" seemed to echo. A producer near the stage shifted, headset crackling. Kelly inhaled, then smiled tightly. "No one's asking you to sit down. But accountability goes both ways." Harry laughed once, humorless. "Accountability? From a media machine that built its empire tearing people apart." Kelly's tone cooled. "This isn't an attack, Harry." "It feels like one," he replied. A murmur spread through the audience, some nodding, others frowning. Kelly straightened, reclaiming the host's authority. "Let's reset," she said. "Because yelling won't help anyone understand your perspective." Harry's eyes flashed. "I'm not yelling. Your voice is raised," Kelly said calmly. "And my life has been dissected since I was 12, he snapped, then caught himself. He closed his eyes briefly, as if trying to rein the moment back in. "I came here for a conversation, not a trial." Kelly tapped her cards against her knee. "Conversation means questions you don't like. And respect means listening to the answers," Harry countered. The silence that followed was thick enough to taste. Somewhere off camera, a stagehand coughed. Kelly glanced toward the producers, then back to Harry. "We're going in circles," she said. "And frankly, this is getting uncomfortable for everyone watching." Harry leaned back, crossing his arms. "Truth often is." Kelly's smile disappeared. "This is my show," she said quietly. "And I won't let it turn into a shouting match." "I'm not shouting," Harry repeated, standing now before he could stop himself. The chair legs scraped loudly against the floor. "But I won't be talked down to either." A collective gasp swept the room. The director's voice crackled urgently through Kelly's earpiece. She stood as well, palms raised slightly. "Harry, please sit. Let's take a breath." He shook his head. "No, I think we're done." Kelly's expression hardened, not angry, but resolved. "If you can't continue respectfully, we'll have to end this segment." Harry met her gaze, something wounded and defiant colliding in his eyes. "Then end it." For a heartbeat, no one moved. Then Kelly turned slightly toward the cameras, professionalism snapping back into place. "We're going to take an early break," she said, voice steady. "Thank you." Two producers stepped onto the stage, one gesturing politely but firmly toward the exit. Harry hesitated, scanning the audience, some stunned, some sympathetic, before giving a short, ironic nod. Without another word, he walked off stage, the curtains swallowing him as the lights dimmed. Backstage, the noise of the studio faded, replaced by the low hum of tension. Harry paused in the corridor, heart pounding, knowing this moment would replay endlessly, clipped, shared, argued over. Another chapter written, whether he liked it or not. The hallway behind the stage smelled faintly of coffee and hot cables. Prince Harry stopped just past the curtain, one hand braced against the wall as if the building itself were unsteady. His chest rose and fell faster than he wanted to admit. Behind him, muffled applause signaled the show had gone to commercial, the audience instructed to clap as if nothing extraordinary had happened. A producer approached carefully, headset still on. "Sir," she said, keeping her voice neutral, "we'll have a car ready in a few minutes." Harry nodded without looking at her. "Thank you." She hesitated, clearly wanting to say more, then thought better of it and walked away. Silence settled in, broken only by distant studio chatter. Harry rubbed his face with both hands. He had promised himself, Meghan, his therapist, his own reflection, that he wouldn't let things escalate again. Yet here he was, another viral moment waiting to explode. His phone buzzed. A message from his publicist flashed on the screen, "Call me ASAP." He slipped the phone back into his pocket without replying. Across the studio, Kelly Clarkson sat back down in her chair as the cameras reset. The break felt longer than usual. She kept her smile fixed, but her hands trembled slightly as she stacked her cue cards. A stage manager leaned in. "We'll pivot," he whispered. "Music segment next." Kelly nodded. "Got it." As the red light blinked back on, she delivered the transition flawlessly, warm voice, easy laugh, as if moments ago she hadn't faced down a prince walking off her stage. The audience followed her lead, clapping, smiling, moving on. That was television. You didn't dwell. You filled the space. But backstage, people were already whispering. He walked out. No, he was kicked out. Did you hear what he said about the media? Within minutes, clips were being uploaded, captions sharpened like knives. Prince Harry melts down. Kelly Clarkson stands her ground. Royal rage on daytime TV. Harry sat in the back of the waiting SUV, watching the studio doors slide past as they pulled away. Los Angeles sunlight poured through the tinted windows, too bright, too indifferent. His phone buzzed again, this time from Meghan. "Are you okay?" He stared at the message, thumbs hovering, then typed, "I'm fine. Talk soon." He wasn't sure if it was true. By the time he reached his hotel, the internet had already chosen sides. Some praised him for speaking his truth, for refusing to be gaslit by a talk show host. Others accused him of entitlement, of playing the victim yet again. Commentators dissected his body language frame by frame, pausing on the moment he stood up, as if that single scrape of a chair defined his character. He tossed his jacket onto a chair and turned on the TV. Every entertainment channel was running the clip. One headline crawled across the screen: Prince Harry asked to leave Kelly Clarkson show after heated exchange. Asked to leave. Kicked out. Walked off. The wording shifted, but the verdict felt the same. Harry muted the sound and sank onto the edge of the bed. He thought of his mother, of how the world had consumed her emotions like entertainment, applauding her vulnerability one day and punishing it the next. He had sworn he wouldn't play that game. Yet somehow, the board always seemed to reset around him. His phone rang again, this time his publicist calling outright. He answered. "We need to get ahead of this," she said without preamble. "There's a narrative forming." "Of course there is," Harry replied tiredly. "Did they ask you to leave, or did you walk out?" A pause. "Both," he said finally. "They gave me an ultimatum." There was silence on the line as she processed that. "Okay," she said. "Then we frame it as a mutual decision." Creative differences. Tensions ran high. Harry closed his eyes. "I'm tired of framing things." "I know," she said more softly. "But silence will frame it for you." After the call ended, Harry lay back and stared at the ceiling. Outside, sirens wailed faintly, the city going about its business. He wondered how many more times he would have to explain himself before people stopped demanding explanations, or whether they ever would. Across town, Kelly sat alone in her dressing room, the show finished, makeup half removed. She scrolled through her phone, seeing her name trend alongside Harry's. Some comments praised her composure. Others accused her of disrespect, of ambushing him. She sighed and set the phone down. She hadn't wanted a fight. She'd wanted a real conversation, the kind viewers always claimed to crave. But real conversations were messy, and mess didn't always play well on daytime television. Her producer knocked lightly and peeked in. "You okay?" "Yeah," Kelly said, then corrected herself. "I will be." He nodded. "For what it's worth, you handled it professionally." She smiled faintly. So did he. Until he didn't. Later that night, a short statement appeared online from Harry's team, carefully worded, calm, measured. It spoke of strong emotions, differing perspectives, and the importance of respectful dialogue. Kelly's show released its own statement, equally polished, emphasizing open conversation and maintaining a constructive environment. The internet, unimpressed by diplomacy, continued to argue anyway. In his hotel room, Harry watched the sun dip below the skyline, the city turning gold, then gray. He thought about the irony of being told to leave a space meant for voices, about how every door he walked through seemed to come with invisible conditions. Tomorrow, there would be another interview, another chance to get it right, or wrong. Another room, another set of lights. He didn't know if the world would ever hear him the way he wanted to be heard. But he knew one thing: walking away hadn't ended the conversation. It had only made it louder.